Spider-Man 2 caused a lot of controversy online because of the new character models, a lot of the decisions that they made just with the story in general. But now, of course, that Insomniac has confirmed Miles Morales is the Insomniac universe's main Spider-Man going forward, and Peter Parker will be sidelined, people are very upset, but game journalists are melting down, calling us ists simply for criticizing this decision. I have a few different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. Now, the article that I wanted to reference is from The Gamer. They're constantly bringing us hot takes. It says Miles Morales will be the main Spider-Man going forward in Insomniac's games as Peter Parker is taking a much-deserved rest from the spandex and webs. But of course, gamers are gonna gamer, so there is plenty of outrage over this revelation. Now, I have streamed all of the Insomniac Spider-Man games on the channel. I loved the first one. I thought that it was fantastic, well-paced. The mix of villains was awesome. The relationships were really good. The Miles game, I didn't really do enough to advance on the first game. Like, there were really no updated mechanics. The story was very short and kind of lackluster. And Spider-Man 2, while it did improve upon a lot, like the combat, and did a fantastic job there, it had some really great boss fights, even though they had a couple too many phases at some points. Unfortunately, the story was just not all that good, and the message was very prominent. And it's no surprise to see why, right? Insomniac has been hiring social justice warriors for a very long time. I mean, Sam Maggs was one of the writers on this game. This game does have quite a few writers, but she was one of them at one point. But this title just was kind of lackluster, in my opinion. I felt like they could have done a little bit more, and well, now we know Miles Morales is going to be the Insomniac universe's main Spider-Man going forward, and a lot of people just simply are not happy over that, okay? They should keep this, the main three games, this story that they're trying to tell as Peter Parker's story. And then after 3, they could go ahead and make Miles, the main one after they've ended Peter's story and wrapped it up with a bow and gifted it to fans. And I mean, Miles already has one game of his own. Why not just continue his story that way? But that's not what they're doing. And of course, people are rightfully a bit upset. But instead of just saying, hey, people are going to disagree, I don't agree with these takes online, the gamer is just going nutso over this, basically calling us racists for not being happy with their decision. And this whole debate stems out of all of the DEI nonsense that's coming from these corporations. And look, Miles is a character that's been around for some years now, but his recent popularity has exploded because of the games and Into the Spider-Verse. So because he's a black character going along with the current Hollywood/entertainment trend, it's essentially a race swap. Even though Miles started out as his own character, now they're turning him into this like DEI driven race swap of Spider-Man because Peter Parker is white, and according to modern day entertainment, white is bad. These are two different characters that should have two different storylines and possibly two different superhero names, each with their own video game series. It says at the end of Spider-Man 2, spoiler alert, with Kraven dead and Venom defeated, Miles and Peter find each other on Aunt May's driveway looking to the future. Peter wants to retire and spend more time with MJ, building up the normal life he hasn't had time over the past 10 years. Now, the reason why at the end of that game, it doesn't really seem like that is going to happen for Peter is because they have been building up certain relationships, right? Like Green Goblin. They have been building up a Green Goblin storyline for the third game. So you clearly knew that he was gonna be back. You clearly knew that no matter how much time was in between the second and third game, he was going to have a prominent role in the next title, but it really seems like they are just going to have like that be Miles's story, which doesn't really make sense. Like, why have Peter's villains going against Miles besides the fact that one's a good guy, another's a bad guy, and we all kind of saw, okay, Peter's retiring, like, okay, sure. but he never said straight up that he's completely done, he's hanging up his web slinger, he's not going to be doing this anymore. So we just kind of figured, everything's going to be fine for him. There's going to be a time gap. But that's not what Insomniac is doing, meaning from the start, they were planning to sideline Peter Parker Spider-Man. It says Insomniac confirmed its intentions with the ending and announced that yes, Miles is the new main Spidey. Immediately after, Spider-Man is Peter Parker and Peter Parker is Spider-Man started trending on Twitter, with many repeating the same trite, Miles Morales is Miles Morales, even though across comic history, we've had an entire corps of Green Lanterns, a Flash as popular as Barry Allen in Wally West, a whole conveyor belt of Robins, multiple Captain Marvels. They are simply trying to defend the fact that yes, Insomniac has gone in this direction and has sidelined Peter Parker. The problem is that Miles, it doesn't have a prominent enough story in the Insomniac games. That is the issue. Okay, the first game was heavily based around Peter Parker. The second game was heavily based around Peter Parker. That means the third game should be the same exact way. That's how it should be. It's just that simple. And of course, people are not going to be happy when you're saying, oh yeah, we've focused on this one character for 2 out of the 3 games, but the third is going to go in a very drastic direction. Again, they should just give Miles his own story and his own separate line of games. I mean, he's already got his first one. Just do a second and do a third and finish up Peter's storyline in Spider-Man 3. And then just do Miles's games after that. But unfortunately, that is not what they're doing. But of course, they're highlighting tweets here that say, okay, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. The comments are coming off a little racist. It's not racist to criticize a fictional character and what that fictional character is doing and what creatives are using that fictional character for. That is not racist. It says there's a second camp of gamers, those who are angry at the idea of their favorite wall crawler taking a back seat despite being the focus for the 2 main games we've had so far. I'm here for Peter. One said on Reddit, after this game's rather disappointing story and now their plans to shift the focus towards Miles, I think I am done. Yeah, no thanks. I enjoy Spider-Man because of Peter Parker, not anyone else. And then they say, finally, we have a third camp, those who don't believe Insomniac. Yes, Spider-Man 2 sets up Green Goblin and Doc Ock, 2 villains competing for the title of Peter's arch nemesis. That is true. We also have Doc Ock being teased, not as heavily as Green Goblin. The focus has definitely been on Green Goblin, but we've all been waiting for the third game because of these 2. I mean, I gotta be honest, I was expecting one of these 2 to be in Spider-Man 2, and that just didn't happen. But yeah, instead of simply saying, it's okay if you have a different opinion, but I disagree or disagree with your opinion, that is not what these journalists are doing. They are furious that people are basically not just shutting up, consuming product, and being happy with the decisions made by Insomniac. And of course, there have been so many tweets over the past few days about the writer confirming Miles is now the main Spider-Man. Like this tweet from Culture Crave blew up and people are here saying, I wonder why nobody's talking about Spider-Man 2 sales to date. It was supposedly such a hit, selling 2.5 million the first weekend. Shouldn't they be touting the second and third week sales? Odd, that is true. They have not done that, and usually when games are selling really well, the developers do want to tout about it because they want people to feel confident in buying the product and they want to gloat to basically other companies like, look at our massive success, but that is not what they're doing here. People are also criticizing Miles' suit. Miles had the worst suits in this game. It was just, they were so bad. They were not good at all whatsoever. But people are saying things also like, so we're not going to get Peter versus Green Goblin, like it wasn't set up or anything. Complete the trilogy first, then make him the main character. All things that, are kind of being repeated here. A lot of people feel the same exact way about this situation, but it's just pathetic to see video game activists putting out articles like this, moaning and groaning and whining and complaining that people are not just shutting up and accepting the fact that this is going to happen in the next title, instead of defending the audience that they need to click on their irrelevant website. I mean, they are called The Gamer. They do kind of need gamers to read their trash articles. But yeah, I mean, now gamers are pretty upset that Miles is the new main Spider-Man, and instead of just allowing us to have our opinions, video game activists like this are freaking out, attacking us. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.